Welcome. Let's talk about the no tax on tips off of the One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed back in July. Just to let you know, the IRS has not come out with any instructions for us as tax preparers to properly report the tips for individuals that receive tips as a hairdresser, Uber driver, um, or works at a restaurant. Okay, so I broken it down. It's really easy. So this will be an easy video to watch, and you'll realize which category you'll fit into. The first category is going to be you get a W-2. You've been getting a W-2. You work for a restaurant, a supper club, and you've always gotten a W-2 where your customers have paid the company, and then they had put tips on your bill, and then those tips were transferred over to your W-2 at the end. So that is the easy one. Okay, so some people don't even have to watch the rest of the video. You've got it. You got your W-2. Your tips are written in box 7, and you're good to go. You can give that to your tax person, and you're good to go on that one. All right. The second one is a little bit more intense. Let's say you are an Uber driver, or you are a DoorDash shift, or you deliver groceries or something like this. All right. Now, a lot of these people, they pay by credit card. So you will get what they call a 1099K. And this form is all of the electronic payments that were made via credit card to Shift or Uber or Lyft or whoever you've been working for as a third party um, credit card program. So you will get this 1099K. All right. That's great. This shows all of the income that you made driving around. And then you may also get what they call a 1099 NEC. A 1099 NEC is your non-employee compensation. So, for example, let's say as an Uber driver, you receive incentives or promotions while you were driving. I don't know, something, and so they gave you a 1099 NEC. All right, I would need both of those, and I would also need, which is really sweet with Uber, Uber actually prints out all of your mileage. And I need that total so that I can figure out if you have a profit or loss from driving around Uber or Shift or DoorDash or somebody like that. All these app programs have total mileage. And that's a number that I will need to properly prepare your taxes. All right. And they will go on Schedule C. So, as an example, um, let's say you make $10,000 as an Uber driver. We'll use this as a guy as an Uber driver. So, he made $10,000. I'm using some notes here so I can get this right. He had incentives from the Uber company, and he got $1,000. All right. Well, he also got tips of $2,000. So he made a total of $13,000 as his gross income. Now, I will go through and I will ask for, how much did he use his cell phone? Did he have to use, work from home, or, his cell phone as his mileage, and which is really great. It's right there from Uber, and they can print that off and give that to me. So let's say it's all said and done, and he comes up with ends up on Schedule C as a profit of $5,000 profit. Okay, well, that profit on Schedule C is carried over to your 1040 and reported as income. Okay, we're all good with that. Well, on his 1099 NEC that he received for $1,000, he also had received that, remember the $2,000 as tips. Well, according to the program, the way the program is working is that I can only take off $1,000 and give him that $1,000 as no tax on tips. All right. This $1,000 will, it's actually entered into after I do the 1099 NEC. There's a section below it where I can enter in how much taxes he received. And I cannot go over that amount that was in the 1099 NEC. I can only go at the maximum up to that. So of course, in our example here, I said that he received $1,000 as incentives and he got $2,000 as tips, but his only deduction he can take is going to be the $1,000. So that $1,000 will then, that will transfer over to the additional deductions, and then that will transfer over to the 1040 and will be added into the standard deduction, which will reduce your taxable income, which will reduce your tax. All right. So, but there's one more thing. He made a profit of the $5,000, remember? So we had the $5,000 we included as income. Well, that $5,000 is also subject to self-employment tax of 15.3%. So that amount will be entered into the tax section of the 1040, and it will be after any of the other deductions you may have. You may have child tax credit, you may have some foreign tax paid or something like that, or you might have some education credits, you might have child dependent care credits. Um, if that zeroes out, you will still need to pay that self-employment tax. And unless you have anything on the withholding end of it, that might put you into an owing situation. Okay. That's where it gets a little bit, hairy. Now, the third example that I want to give you is you're self-employed. You don't get a 1099. You don't get because you're making your money. It's a cash basis thing. You're a hairdresser. You don't but you get tips. So how do you record this? All right. Um, this is very interesting. So according to their form, it says that you do not enter more than the net profit from the trade or business. Okay. In the last example I'd given you was, even though he had a profit, we can only record the tips on the 1099, and that's the extent of it. Okay. I know this gets a little bit confusing in regards to the small business person as a hairdresser. So let's say she makes $20,000 and she has $5,000 worth of tips, so she has to record $25,000 as income, and then we take off all her expenses, and let's say she has a loss. She cannot take any deduction for the loss. Will go over to the 1040, but in regards to getting any extra deductions for those tips that she had received, those $5,000 worth of tips, she will get none. As this is, as I understand it, well, she did not have a profit, so she is not, or the system does not allow her to take a deduction for those tips. So I'll just go over it real quick again with you. A W-2, that's great. That's like the easy one. Your tips will be listed in box 7 on your W-2. If you are an Uber driver, DoorDash, you will receive, and you will have to check with that app because I know it's there because I've done returns already with this on it. You will have to print off a 1099-K, which records all of the income that you made with Uber or whoever you're working for. And then if you're a small business person, unless you're going to have an income as a profit, uh, unless your income produces a profit, then you will be able to take your tips only up to whatever your profit was for that. Now, as I was speaking, I was thinking of one more situation is that let's say you are a truck driver and you do odd jobs and they pay you to come and do work on their property or something like that. So you probably get a W-2, but you also may get 1099s. So in this case, if you get tips as a truck driver, hopefully somebody would tip a truck driver, I don't know. Um, you would be able to take those tips up to the amount on that NEC, that 1099 that they would have received on that. Um, Other than that, we're still learning. We're still waiting. I just checked here before I hit the record button on regards to is the instructions out there? The form's here. Got the form. But the instructions, especially for the tips, is a little, a little frustrating, but we're making it through, doing the best we can, and that's all we can do. If something is missed, we can always do an amendment afterwards. But um, at this point, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching, and I'll have some more information on regards to the new vehicle. That one is a little interesting. I hope this made sense. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And I'm going outside. It's really nice out. So have a great day. Thanks for watching. God bless you. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye.